Welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 of episode 2 of the Emotions podcast. And today's emotion we'll be talking about being happy, right, everybody?
Yeah, happy because
we're happy.
Because it's Friday.
Welcome to Mediocriticast.
Proceed.
This format was completely intended, and we didn't have a technical difficulty where we lost over an hour and a half of podcast footage. But, you know, it's going to work out to give you a more digestible podcast format. So yes, for this section, we're going to be talking about movies that either made us feel good or laugh or anything of that sort. Because I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't like movies I don't like feel-good movies. I don't like movies that make me happy. I don't know about any of that.
No, there's not too many, at least from what because I've done some research in the last 5 minutes about feel-good movies, and a lot of them... You
didn't like any of them.
A lot of them actually are quite sad. I mean,
it's like it starts off sad, but then turns good. Like, I watched that movie Wonder, the kid with the monster face.
No, don't.
And you know what? It was not as bad as I thought it would be, because I hate those types of movies, but it was good. So, you see that? He's a goddamn freak. Messed up weird face.
What movie was this?
It's called Wonder. It's a kid.
Oh!
No,
I went to go see it.
What a horrible, disgusting monster he was.
I went to stream.
I'm just kidding. I'm completely.
I went to
kidding.
stream that, and me and Michelle were gonna watch it.
It's actually
and I went to go stream it. I clicked the first couple links, and every single one of them was linked to the Wonder Woman movie. And because that's fantastic, I watched that for the fourth time.
I'm sure you were trying to stream them legitimately.
Oh yeah, I mean Netflix really screwed that one up.
Yeah, just a big blunder there.
What happens there?
I was just downstairs, was looking. I was like, I don't know. Refresh my memory. Let me look up what are the best feel-good movies. And I don't know. There's things on the list like some stuff I saw, like Dead Poet Society. I don't remember
feeling good.
No, I don't remember feeling good at all.
I didn't feel good.
I don't remember feeling good at all during that movie. And I mean, there was some stuff, but a lot of the feel-good movies that were on there had a very big, or I guess, sadness overtone, but I guess that's the whole thing. Like, you have to have sadness to have happiness. But
it turned into that, yeah.
But I mean, there was some movies on there that reminded me that I really enjoyed them and had
So it seems like a lot of our choices might lean towards the comedy side of things, because you felt joy throughout the whole thing. Is that where you're
going with that?
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 choices, but 2 of them are comedy.
Yes, because that is where we are going, because comedy brings laughter and laughter
is happiness.
It's
happiness
joy,
is
and I'm actually surprisingly I really enjoy comedy, but I'm more of a person who actually watches stand up more. I'm not a super big fan of comedy movies. I find we've talked about this a lot. I find comedy is subjective, but I also feel there's almost like pockets or there's periods of different types of comedy that becomes really popular. Today's not so much, although some of my choices will be that if we're talking about comedies, but generally to start, I'm a fan of older comedies. I as the stupider the funnier, and I'll go into that. One of my favorite comedies, one of my favorite movies still today, is Dumb and Dumber. I love it. I quote it constantly. I love it. It's amazing.
I do not. I mean, like I said, but I know there's tons of people that love it. I don't know. I'm sure there's people that don't like either, but it's not my style of comedy.
Obviously, it's not Dumb and Dumber, but show me, Chris Farley movies, Black Sheep or Tommy Boy. I'll still
Those are good
chuckle
feel-good
and
movies.
giggle.
They are good
It's
choices.
like, yeah. So
good feel-good movies, yeah.
all of those I like. For more recent for me, a lot of times I find it too try-hardy or, they're trying to be, edgelords or trying to be like just so over the top, and that doesn't really get to me. But some things that might have been more raunchy, where I really enjoyed Superbad. I thought that was wasn't the first one, but one of the better like teen party movies. I found it still really good and really relatable.
Yeah,
and
did better than Project X.
Yeah.
Which, again, as disclaimer, me and Lauren, my current wife, we met and we saw that movie. That was our first date.
Really?
Yeah.
Could only go up from there.
Oh yeah. we went to the Applebee's, went to a movie theater that's no longer there. It's
went to the Bee's Knees and saw some Project X.
Yeah.
Got that 2 for $20.
I don't probably.
Hey, get that.
Wow.
Probably. I mean,
first date.
I was broke at the time, so we probably split 2 for $20. So.
Got them half price apps.
She ate the apps. You had the deal.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored by Applebee's.
and
Except their Brutus Long Island iced teas are delicious, and I think they're like $5. I don't know. They're cheap. They're like $3.
Right there.
They're cheap.
Down.
Hop on over to that at
They're
Clovis.
delicious. I've gotten drunk on
Their dollar margaritas were really watered down.
Hop on down to the
Clovis,
The
New Mexico.
Applebee's.
Go to the Clovis to the Applebee's, right?
have a really nice time at
I was gonna
on
say
a Wednesday night.
I was gonna say right next to something, but it's probably the only Applebee's there, so I don't
Right
think
next
it's
to the-
necessary.
Right next to that half rundown gas station.
Yeah.
And then the last comedy that I will mention of recent times that really made me laugh and I really enjoyed was Step Brothers. I thought Step Brothers was.
That's not what I thought you were
really
going to
good.
say. Because there was a comedy that all 3 of us enjoyed that was recent that did things really well, and that was Game Night.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised with it. I thought that it really hit the jokes that it needed to hit. And I felt like that they had enough little twists that were really funny, and the impressions that they did of with Denzel Washington was hilarious. There's a lot of really good moments in it. I thought it was really funny.
I should learn the actor's name by now, but I don't, and I only know his
Jason Bateman?
his funny meme name from back in the Breaking Bad days. But Meth Damon,
Oh, I don't know his name.
the Meth Damon
I don't know his
character
name,
who
but
played the cop,
Him with his dog.
hilarious.
It was so funny.
That was really good.
The whole
It was
scene,
a
like
solid-
little things, the whole scenes where it's like he's going into his house and he's just waiting out front with his dog are just like there's a lot of there's some misses there, but there was a lot of just solid comedy there.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you guys have been listening and know me by now, there was that nice long shot scene.
You're talking
where they were
about Jesse-
chasing the egg. It was really good.
Talking about
Yeah,
Jesse
okay.
Plemons.
is that his name?
Yeah.
You see pictures
him?
of this?
Right? Yeah, he
Je-
played Gary
Jess-
the cop.
Jesse
Yeah.
Plemons.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, Meth Damon.
Meth Damon.
But yeah, I guess I'll go into a happy movie of mine, which I just saw on that feel good list. Which actually I was like, wow, yeah, that's a feel good movie. It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Wow.
I'd say that's a perfect example of a feel good movie.
And it's classic.
I mean, there is some weird sad parts in it. Like the swimming pool scene, but like,
Brings a dragon.
but you're not really sure what he's going on, what he's doing. But the overall theme of the movie is happy. You come away like it was like a lighthearted, kind of happy kind of film. It's just a fun, goofy, like, oh, let's just skip school, take off kind of day.
We can all relate
like,
to skip school and just have our
just
fun.
take the day off. Another that I've recently liked, like I said, I feel like a lot of my feel-good movies are actually animated movies, and again, they have sadness in them, but it's like most recently, not animated, but like a recent one that was like a super feel good. It's like you always leave them happy. It was like Moana. Moana was a super happy film. There was nothing really too deep in that movie.
I mean, absolutely loved Moana.
Because I mean, there's well,
I thought it was so
He
good.
said, "Hold up, girl. I love."
No, and it's funny because I don't like a lot of those Disney movies,
they're
and
good.
I was really
was good.
like The Rock singing like out of tune was so good.
He did good.
I mean, because there's some movies that are like sadder, and it's like one of my favorite animated movies is like WALL-E, but clearly that has a sadder overtone to, I feel like, the whole movie. Like, even at the end, you're still kind of sad because the whole thing's about, like, Earth being deserted, and at the end you're just, it's like silver lining. There's like, but Earth, they can maybe go back.
A lot of, try not get back in the sad happy, but that's like half of them. You're like, amazing,
but like
really sad, even until the end when
all-time amazing.
His dad didn't show up, but
Up ruined it. They killed me with the intro, and then they just left it,
there.
and then I was like, I'm sad the rest of the movie.
You guys want to talk about feel-good animated movies? Land Before Time. Oh my god, they killed Ducky.
Oh my god.
Spoiler alert.
Ducky dies. Rotting corpses eaten by compies.
But yeah, a lot of feel-good movies, though, like I said, are that. Like, if you're actually getting a feel-good movie, you're going to have sadness as a main point of the movie. And it's like, I feel like that's not the case with comedies. You have comedies where there's plain not sadness. Like I said before, I love The Hangover. The original Hangover. That's hilarious. Yeah. It's like... But there's no sadness in that.
That was another good party movie.
Yeah, it's a great party movie. It's hilarious with Zach
Galifianakis.
Yeah, he's hilarious in that. That was like his first, like one of his first biggest roles, and he got that weird, awkward role. Yeah. But like he played it perfectly, and it's just like that. I think
it kind of became his shtick after that. Like,
yeah, totally.
I don't even know if it's a shtick. It might be him just that's how he is.
But like, if you've seen his stand up,
it's kind of the same. Yeah.
But he's it's another thing with comedians who are actually really good actors, because he's been in a few pretty serious ones. He was in Birdman, I believe.
I have not seen Birdman.
Birdman was good.
I have not seen it. It's on my list to see.
That's a good movie.
But yeah, it's interesting because like when you're specifically looking for a feel-good movie, you're gonna find sadness as a main plot point of it, because again, it's like the sadder they make you, I feel like at one point is gonna make the movie feel more feel-good later on. But it's like comedies, you just feel good throughout the whole thing if it's done right.
No, yeah, I agree.
Other movies, like I said,
otherwise something's just happy all the way through, and then it's like,
oh yeah, but I mean, a comedy is just
there's no arc.
A comedy is just lighthearted, and I mean, but there's some like love kind of feel good. I don't know who I was talking to. You or you? But I was talking about like that was actually surprised me was actually the Intern.
With De Niro.
Yeah, with De Niro in it.
Super good,
and it's. Like, I rolled my eyes at the whole thing and was like, this is going to be stupid. And me and Lauren watched it, and it was like, I would say that's a feel-good movie. Because it's like, De Niro starts at a company and he's the intern, so it's like this comedy between like, and it's almost comedy for everybody, because De Niro plays like the older generation, and it's like, he's working with a bunch of millennials and stuff, and they're all just having a good time. Like, nobody's mean in the movie, really. Like, even his coworkers, like, it's a perfect world in this movie where it's like millennials and older generation are getting along. They're joking about like sex and things like that. And it's just,
he's an old guy.
It's just funny, yeah.
He's an old guy that's trying to get back into work, and he becomes an intern. And it's the company that he works for is very progressive, kind of like what Google does. Like, they have like scheduled nap times and like hammocks and stuff. It's kind of like that, and he does not fit in. Like, he's still doing things on paper and pencil instead of using their phone to like, put it up on Twitter or whatever it may be, and like he's just trying to adjust. And it's a really good dynamic, and him gelling with the new era makes you feel good.
But yeah, it's fun. It's just like, it's the whole movie's just feel good. He ends up being like a dad figure. What's her name? Who was in it?
Is that Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
I think it was Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, I don't know why I was drawing a blank on it, but yeah, I believe so. And Dan will correct me if not, if I'm thinking of somebody totally different. But yeah, he plays just like, you think like, oh, maybe this will turn into like some old man like romance with, but it just turns into like a dad kind of like mentoring. It's just nice, and it's just something like she never had. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just like a feel-good movie. It's just like, everybody's ends up being happy in the end, and it's just like, throughout the movie, there's never, like, there's some challenges to happen, but there's nothing ever really that sad. So it's just like, that's a great, feel-good movie to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, any others you think of?
Not really. What I thought we could go into, maybe not specifically for movies, but just generally to end on more happiness or good feelings. Just talk about movie-going experiences in general. Has there been any times that you guys were in theaters that was like a really great experience? Something memorable or good that happened?
Yeah. Well,
wow, actually,
sorry, guys, just woke up. Sorry. My favorite movie experience had to have been going to see The Hateful Eight by Quentin Tarantino on his roadshow, what he claimed. So I was actually seeing it in a theater in 70mm the way that it was supposed to be seen. It had
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And you got like a little booklet, which I have somewhere in my house. You got like a fan booklet, like has art in it and things like that. So it was pretty cool. And they start off with like the whole like actual like score in the beginning, like an additional score in the beginning. It goes through the movie and the parts. Like if you watch it, you see the parts. They say part 1, part 2. And so in the middle of the movie, they actually did like an intermission, just like it was like a play. And so it was kind of cool. You got to actually get up, go to the bathroom, and you're not like, oh my god, I'm missing a movie, because it's a long movie as is. You were gonna go to the bathroom at some point, but it was nice. They give you an intermission, you got to leave, come back. If you want a snack, you want popcorn, you can get it. But like, it was cool to see, like in the old Western 70mm, the way he wanted it to be seen. Really cool. Other fun times have been at like pre-screenings. They're just fun to go to when you get tickets to them.
We saw Atomic Blonde in pre-screen. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, we saw Atomic Blonde. Me and Andy saw Kidnapped recently. Kidnapped and Jason Bourne, the new Jason Bourne. Newest? I don't know. Jason Bourne movie, so it's just fun.
Yeah, those will have to be their own.
Oh yeah, they'll have to be their own story. But those are the funnest experience for me, or most enjoyable. So
the one that for me, like, so I've heard a lot of people talk about these experiences, and I think it also has to do with the particular crowd that night and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so for me, because of my age and where I was never able to see a Star Wars film in theaters until The Force Awakens, because the first 3 I was probably a teenager, wasn't really into movies as much as I was. I became a fan of Star Wars later on in my early 20s. Those movies had already been out. And I never really got that experience, but so the Force Awakens came out, got announced, several years after Episode 3, and it's my first experience, and we sat in a theater, and it was the first time that I've ever had a whole crowd in a movie theater with me when that text scroll came up, and that music came on, and everybody just burst into applause, and it was such a good feeling, and it set up such a good mood throughout the movie. And I'll even say, other than Empire Strikes Back, that was my favorite Star Wars movie. So it was matched up, the initial experience was matched up with a really, really good movie.
If I can add on to that, I'm going to be in the same genre, but I'm about 90 years older than you, so I was in theaters when Episode 1 came out.
Oh, man, and the hype train.
And it was the same thing, my god. The entire theater just erupted into applause when, the text scroll. It was such a fun, amazing feeling, and again, another good experience, because, it's, at that point in time, all Star Wars fans were kind of bound together, and there wasn't such a divisiveness, but
there wasn't a divide in the Force.
Yeah. I believe it was Episode 2, the first time that you saw Yoda start to fight. I believe when he was fighting Dooku. Once he looked it up and he did his little
acrobats,
the Frank Oz scream, and he just started going and started flipping around like, whatever. If it doesn't hold up now, that's one thing, but at that time, like, people lost their
you were like, oh shit,
minds.
Yoda can throw down.
That was amazing. I got one more, and it's not a fun or happy movie at all. But we're talking about experiences. Enemy at the Gates. It had Jude Law in it. It was a World War II movie, and it was about the snipers in Russia. And the only thing I'll say, according to the movie and the experience that we had, it was literally a whole entire cat and mouse chase of a Russian sniper versus a German sniper, and the whole movie just built up to a final end. Spoiler alert. Move ahead.
36 seconds.
So it's finally a standoff between the Russian sniper and the German sniper, and the tension was built up so much that you're waiting the entire movie. Once the final gunshot goes off of the Russian, somebody in the audience just could not stand the suspense any longer, that the moment that the gunshot went off, somebody just went, "Oh my God!" Just one guy in the theater just yelled out, and then the whole theater just erupted in laughter. And while not a funny movie, it was a really great time.
Recently, actually, with Infinity War, the moment that Captain America made his presence, and the whole crowd just burst into applause. And it was so cool, because that was mid-movie. I've never had that ever happen before, but it was, his entrance was really cool, how he just appears out of the shadows, he just catches it, and he just, like, looks like a total badass, and everybody just was like, yeah, like, applauding Captain America's here, it's about to go down. And when those experiences happen, I feel like it just enhances the movie. I said that weird, but...
Enhances the movie.
I just thought I said that weird. But, yeah, it enhances the movie, and... Feel-good movies, man. That's just great.
Let's end on a Marvel movie.
Well,
Anything else? I mean...
Any honorable mentions?
No, I mean, terrible instance was I watched the...
We're talking about terrible times, too?
No. But whatever the Godzilla movie was, where... we used to talk about theater experiences, but it wasn't a bad time, wasn't a good time, though. But when Godzilla was... I don't know which one it was. It was the one with Bryan Cranston in it. And the Godzilla attacks the monster. Everybody started cheering. It drove me really mad. But that's saved for another time. But theater experiences, not always good.
Not always good. But that'll be for something else. So are we good?
I am golden.
Fantastic.
So next part of this podcast, I believe we will be talking about... Ooh, the spookies.
Spooky ghosts, they're so scary.
The shivery rivers.
Oh, the shivery rivers. You know what those are. We've talked about them before.
The creepy weepies.
Are you afraid of the dark?
That was a good show.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
Trademark by Nickelodeon.
Yeah, sorry, Nickelodeon, don't sue us.
Did that just give you goosebumps?
Ooh.
Hopefully Goosebumps too.
I did like the newer Goosebumps. That was pretty good.
Anyway, so yes, that will be part 3 of the Emotions podcast. Is horror or scary movies, or what's not even necessarily that, but since we're talking about. Yeah,
we're talking about the emotions. We're talking
what
about
scared
fear.
us the most, which probably means everything we will mention will not, you guys will not have felt the same, but this will be according to us, most likely in our childhood, because that's probably what scared us.
I think that's what
scared the shit out of us the most.
Yeah, that's when you're most afraid. So,
all right,
looking forward to it.
So there's that. Remember to like, subscribe.
I don't think that's a...
Hit the like button, or watch it at least, please.
Stay mediocre.
Stay mediocre, guys. See you next time.
Remember, stay mediocre.
Good one.